You know, I had a client before. Oh, by the way, welcome. It's 7 o'clock. I'm Stephen England. Welcome to the live show. But I had a client before, and he said, "I keep seeing your videos. You're all over the place. You're getting really famous now. When you're rich and famous, will you still talk to me?" So I just said, "No, I don't want to talk to you anyway. You know, whether I'm rich and famous or not." But anyway, tonight we've got Graham, as always. Now, I've got to tell you, Graham's been a real soldier because he's been such a wimp all week. He had a bit of toothache. Tiny bit of toothache, and he's been off work all week, and he's come in and he's been moaning and groaning and walking around with his head down. But you know, we had a problem with the printer. Well, we didn't have a problem with the printer. Someone's changed the locks upstairs, and I haven't got a key for it, so the printer's upstairs. So Graham handwrote what he wants to talk about tonight, and I can read it. I can. So, you know, a real thank you, Graham. You're a star.
And I can read it.
And you know, tonight we've also got a very old friend of mine. In fact, I can't believe he's still an old friend of mine because I've known him since I was 5 years old, and I thought we brought him onto the show tonight because he's a proper businessman, and he's going to correct me with the technical stuff when it comes to the business side of things. So, hello, Sam.
Hi.
How are you?
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Let's hope you say that by the end of the show. Right. A little bit of something we're not normally, it's a business show, this, so we're not normally about talking about highly charged political situations. But I feel that I should mention the Israeli conflict going on at the moment. And we have our resident Nazi anti-Semitic Graham in the studio, so he'll put an opposing view to anything I say.
Didn't agree to this.
Which bit? What, anti-Semitic or Nazi? Which?
I didn't agree to be called a Nazi.
But you don't mind being anti-Semitic?
Well, no.
It's okay. It's all right.
It's kind of trendy that now, isn't it?
I get that. You know. No. So I thought I'd mention that because there has been, you know, people don't often look at the individual situations on these things. I mean, I don't want this conflict to affect my relationship with the I don't know, I'd say hundreds of Muslim clients that I deal with. I've had lots of well wishes for Eid today, you know, and I think that's an important thing to know, that whatever goes on between countries shouldn't affect going on between individuals, and I think it's very important to remember that. I mean, just on a lighter note, I did not lighter note. I was talking to my cousin before who lives in Israel. He's an Israeli, and I asked him how things were there, and his attitude was that there are some missiles landing, and luckily they're shooting most of them down, and he's hoping the conflict will be over very quickly and no one will get, or not too many people will get hurt. And he asked me how things are with me, and I said we had a terrible time the other night because delivery was late with our takeaway. Oh, he just felt that we have different things to cope with. So that's my comment on Israel, and I'm going to move on to the next phase, which is about customer service. You know, it's a little bit of a gripe, and I think we get so much going on with bad service in businesses. I mean, I was you know, I bought myself a new car. You know, I'm supposed to be picking it up next week. I phoned the people at the showroom, and they can't give me the number plate so I can get the car insured, and they won't. They don't return my calls, and it makes me want to cancel the car. You know, I don't know, Sam. You've been in retail, you've been in wholesale, you've been in all sorts of different things. What do you think about customer service in general? How important is it to you?
I think customer service can either make or break a connection. Someone that's interested in doing business with you.
Yeah,
it's up to you to be proactive and make sure that they feel that you're an important part of their business.
Well, I think it's everything. I mean, does customer service extend to like throwing people like Graham out your shop when he comes in so he doesn't offend other customers? Is that customer service? Have I got to look at Sam, or is he got to look at me?
They're just going, no, forget the technical things there.
What have I done?
What dude, right? I was going to ask you to sign my passport picture, and now, and this is what you're doing to me. Yeah. Well,
I don't see how it's different. I'll still sign your picture. Anything that gets you out of the country.
No, Sam, I'm not like this, Sam.
Bad customer service. I mean, I think further down, I made a note of it here. And I know I'm jumping a little bit, but where does it say? Where is it about Melanie here? Melanie's had an awful day. In total day, what her words were, my day's been fucked up today because she's been hanging around waiting for workmen to come, to all sorts of people coming, and no one's turned up. How can you make a commitment to turn up and do a job for someone, and you're going to get paid, and you don't turn up? You didn't turn up on Monday, did you, Graham?
Customer service is when it's not your money on the line. If you're employed by Hermes or employed by you're a contractor, so you don't really lose the money. Whereas if it's your personal business, you'll make sure that you do give them customer service, otherwise they won't call you back.
True. What do you think, Graham?
Can I just point out, I didn't just not turn up Monday. I was having emergency surgery. I literally
If you were committed, you would have been there.
But that's true, yeah. If I was committed.
But do you think it's about commitment? Do you think bad customer service is a cultural thing, or do you think just people don't give a shit?
I don't. Honestly, my perspective is I think that it's a shame we don't have tipping culture, because tipping culture, it's great for the employers because you don't have to pay them, and it's good because when it's a culture, people are more inclined to tip because they're like, well, you're working for 15 cents an hour, so they're expecting.
Why are you talking cents? We're in the UK.
Well, I'm talking about tipping culture. I'm talking about American culture right now.
You mean you don't leave a tip because you're English?
No,
you never
I
leave
do
a tip.
leave a tip. I do leave a tip.
I don't understand where you're going with this.
I just mean if we had more of a tipping culture and more of us are out and more of us were out there, people would be a little bit more incentivized.
I think people need to have more pride in what they do. More self-respect. I mean, if someone said to me, I made an agreement to turn up somewhere and do a job, I would turn up because I wouldn't show myself up like that, and I actually care about what I'm doing. Actually, have you ever heard of a business called Arthur Beale?
Do you know why it was an emergency? It was an emergency because I've been putting it off.
Well, there you go. So you're responsible. You can't even look after yourself. If you know you've got to have something done, then go and have it done. And go at the weekends or after work. I don't understand. But bad service is bad service,
well,
whatever it is.
A good accountant will appreciate procrastination.
Yeah. Why?
You can't be too late with your books, otherwise you've had it.
Oh, that's just, it is. You're working at deadlines. Deadlines is that's so true. If people don't bring the paperwork in, we've got so much problems. These days it's just worse and worse and worse. Luckily, we've got systems to try and capture that, even if people don't sort of do what we say. In the main, anyway, it's not an entire thing. But I mentioned Arthur Beale. Have you ever heard of them?
Nope.
I haven't. But
good segment, man. What's next?
No. The reason I bring it up is because I always feel quite sad with these things. Apparently they sold sales and shipping stuff, and they had a shop in London, which I think this week's closed down after 500 years of the same business. That's quite sad, really, isn't it? 500 years in the same business and they've closed down. So I just wanted to wish the owners luck in whatever they do next. And
for the next 500 years.
Well, 500 years, a long time in business. A long time for a business to be going, but it shows you. But maybe sometimes it's because people have to change technology, change with the times, change with the new products and stuff. I mean, there's so much new stuff coming out all the time because I'm a big fan of some of the science magazines, and they come up with like there's something coming up with magnets that they're trying to get through now. Yeah, which gives you so much more power, and the more free power we get and the cheap power, the more we can do. But I'm going back just back to the keeping up with technology. I mean, it's great to have these quirky shops that specialise in things, but we've really got to stay with the times and use every available resource we can find. There's no point using a hammer if you can have it stamped out with a big machine. There's so much technology now that can take care of stuff. I mean, I believe there's even burger flipping machines coming, so you can eliminate people standing all day flipping burgers, and they can use a machine to do it with.
Have you ever had one of those where you're when you stay at a hotel and there's a little robot that'll do an omelette for you in the morning?
I've never have.
Have you never had that? You just go. Beep, beep, beep.
I don't need one. I've got Melanie.
Okay, well,
but no. I
unpacking the room.
Oh, everything.
For you there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Little wok.
Yeah, no, it's great what she does, but that's why I didn't like it that she got so pissed off today, because she sat around all day, hanging around for people to not turn up, and so now I don't know if I'm going to get tea. You've got to bear that in mind. But I do think people should be more aware of technology and more aware of new trends, and follow Instagram and follow LinkedIn and see what people are buying. You don't need to copy everything, but I think it's great that people have an idea of new stuff. I mean, Sam, sorry to come back to you. I know you're dreading me talking to you, but you're in a business. Do you want me to look at him? You said look in the camera. Right, sorry. Hello. Sam. You told me to look in the camera. Sam, you deal in clearance stocks, don't you? But you also deal in handbags and sports bags and a lot of fashion items. So you know more than most people how important it is to stay, keeping abreast of new ideas. Sure. What are you working on anything exciting at the moment?
Well, I just bought a job parcel of clothes, amongst other things, and it's so old. It's from 2006.
Yeah.
That they've got a vintage status.
Right.
worth more than they were worth in the first place.
Right. So you always be thinking. What did it say? Up there for thinking, and down there for sitting on your ass. No, just this telly's gone off, Graham. So I don't know what you've done there as well. Honestly, I can't get the staff.
I'm trying to go viral here. Stop talking about your bum.
Do you know what we did? Can I tell you a story from many, many years ago? We, for some reason, I worked with Tony and Stuart, for those that have met them, and many, many years ago, I don't know why, it's probably about 15 years ago, we decided to have a picture taken of the three of us mooning. And this is funny at the time. I don't know why it was funny, but it was. But a couple of years ago, Stuart sort of opened up a business as a cash and carry. So he asked me to design a leaflet. I don't know why he'd asked me to design anything. And I found this picture. So I put the picture onto a leaflet with the sign, with the statement, rock bottom prices. And then I had them printed and I put them on his desk. He was not a happy bunny. But I thought it was hilarious.
You've done nothing but talk about your ass since I got here, Stephen. I'm very uncomfortable right now.
Sent you a picture before, didn't I?
You literally sent me, and you said, "What do you think that stain is?" I'm like, dude, man, I'm not. No.
Is this a fantasy?
It was a little bit exciting, but this isn't the environment.
Do you know when you're mentioning rude words like ass? I once read this book about colourful language in business, and a lot of top accountants and solicitors and public speakers do swear a lot and use a lot of colourful language because it has impact and meaning, doesn't it?
Mr. T?
Yeah, very much so. He has. I don't know who Mr. T is, but yeah, I'm just going with the flow. Are you talking about the A-Team?
Yeah.
Oh,
Does he not swear?
He never swears.
Honestly, Graham, go and take some more of that medicine.
Your racism showing there.
Oh, you've mixed up two black people. Oh, Graham. No. Colourful language.
Mr. T was your father's favourite.
Oh yeah, my dad actually opened a business
called Mr. T.
He called it Mr. T Bags. No, he did because he sold bags and Mr. T and my dad. Yeah. But colourful language. I think what it does it puts emotion into what you're saying and helps you to remember it. And this is why sending you a picture of me lying on the bed in my underpants was something that would inspire you to get back to work.
Yeah, did the trick, man. Yeah,
I thought it might.
Didn't make me regret coming here today at all.
But remember, a lot of people in marketing, they do use as much colourful language. They do go out to shock. So you go, what? And look, that's. I mean, looking at promoting anything is the idea to make people stop in the tracks and think. And what did he just say? Or what was that? Or that caught my eye. And that's something that is interesting. What we've got though, we've got an advert. I don't know if anyone of you ever seen one of our adverts, but we're about to do a whole load of Relate adverts. So if you want to star in one of our adverts, and just let me know. But this is we call it the Bang It in a Box advert. So I'm going to play it now, and if anybody would have got any comments on it and see whether it does reflect what we do, that's great. So roll it, Graham.
Attention small business owner, when is a box more than just a box? No! Oh no, that's just weird. A box is more than just a box when it can give you a couple of extra hours in bed, or at the very least some time to do something more fun and or productive than bookkeeping. Just bang all your paperwork in a box and we'll take care of the rest. Accounts Direct. Accountants on your side.
We're back. What do you think of the advert? I like it. We've got loads more, but if you want to see any of the adverts and what we're up to and all the daft things we're trying to do, go to my YouTube channel, and they're all there along with all our back episodes of Between the Spreadsheets. What I've got here, we were talking before, weren't we, Graham? I know we covered it on our previous programme, but there's a lot of changes going on, especially in all over the place, but some of them are quite good, like planning for building properties, for extending properties, for building other structures. I wouldn't say they've been done away with, but it's very good. Well, I think it's very clever what they're doing. They're eliminating a lot of the planning obstacles, and they're making the whole process a lot easier, and a lot of stuff you don't even need to gain planning permission now. I mean, there's going to be rules, but instead of submitting a planning application and being told what you've got to do, you can't do, they're going to put the criteria. So they might say, you know what, you can build what you want as long as there's X number of trees, or there's X number of mushrooms for Graham to sit on, or there's a certain amount of little old ladies that live on the street. But you've got to know what you can do. So as long as you conform to that, you don't have to apply for planning permission, which is a long, arduous and difficult thing to do. As it's bad enough if you have your own home that you're trying to expand, but it gets worse if you're in business. And I know so many builders, so many property developers, so many people that have such problems that they lay out fortunes for the land, and they're spending the next 5-10 years trying to get planning permission through for things. So I think that's got to be good for the economy. It also, I think it's been pushed, this idea of new properties being built, because there's a lot of demand for houses. We don't have enough houses, do we?
Yeah, it's a huge issue, and it has been for, 15, 20 years
Well, it just makes sense that we should be allowed to build and extend, not just commercial property, but for people, and build more apartments and build whatever. Sam, were you ever in the property game? Have you ever dealt with properties and stuff?
I've sometimes bought businesses that had properties in them.
All right. No, I haven't. I've never really dealt in property. It's not been. Have you, Graham? Have you ever owned a house?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, to be honest.
Have you ever lived in a house that you own? No, just a kennel.
Yeah, I have. But I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about that.
All right.
But do you think they should build properties in Broughton Park?
I think they should build properties everywhere. I think
Hampstead Heath.
And Hampstead Heath.
And Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, we don't have enough places for Jewish people to live, so we need big, expensive properties. And no, I think it's a good idea for the nation in general when we ease restrictions, no matter what it is, well, with responsibility. I mean, we don't want to lose our heritage, and we still want to have lovely buildings going back from 500 years ago.
Well,
and
I think the idea is there's 3 new zones, isn't there?
Yeah.
So there's growth.
Yeah.
There's protection, and then there's renewal.
Which makes sense.
Which, as a general rule, so we'll say this is protected, that's protected. The idea being that once something's cordoned off, it'll be left alone. But with as a country, we're desperate for this.
Oh, and I don't understand it, because we seem, wherever we go, we seem to be quite built up. But there's loads of things, and I've never understood why they don't use the brownfield sites more. They're just ugly land lying there, not doing anything. Do you know what I've never understood? There are tons and tons of shops that are just empty, or these upstairs of shops, and why they don't sort of convert them into flats.
That's already happening, actually. Yeah,
is it starting to?
That has been happening, especially in Birmingham.
Right. Yeah, but you're going to live in Birmingham then.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't particularly want to live, but if I've got a family, haven't I? So I wouldn't want to live in a shop. But
no, not in the shop. Above the shop, there's lots of people that live above shops. And there's some lovely 3-4 story flats that they're just dead. They're just nothing, and I don't know why they don't build it. And I know that I had a client once that used to. He actually approached one of the big betting firms at the time, and he took over he did a deal with them where he took over all the top floors of all their apartments, the ones with the separate entrance, and he converted them all into flats, and he had quite a lucrative rental income coming up for a while. And there's loads of things you can do if you're allowed to do it.
Yes, and that's where I am worried. It's going to be debated over the summer. I'm going to be watching it with great interest, because just like universal credit, really, really good idea.
Yeah.
Are they going to implement it well, though? Who
This is
knows?
it. They seem to have great ideas that, but sort of get lost. It's like I know with the transport system, you know, they say, great, don't take cars into town. Let's make parking incredibly expensive. But they don't give you an alternative.
Yes.
Because the buses still don't run properly and the trams never come on. You know, you still, they're not good.
It's like with the bedroom tax. They brought the bedroom tax in, but that was like the final phase where they should have built a load of new places first.
Yeah.
You should have built 500,000 new homes before you start punishing people for over-occupying council flats.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It's like you've got great ideas, but they're just not thought of that much in the planning side and say, right, that's a great idea, but how are we going to implement it? Now, I would imagine that this new planning for buildings is going to have loads and loads of scope for people to take the mickey. But you know, I think it's good. You know, one of the things with property was that it was always for property developers and not even property developers, just people developing a single house or anything. It was always an area where people could launder money. Do you know what they used to do? Well, I mean, it's probably quite knowledge. You know, you get some money. You've obtained it by not declaring tax on it and selling things without VAT and stuff like that. And then they go and buy a house that's bit run down and use that money to do it up. So you've cleaned that money up, and when you come to sell the house, it all comes back in. You know, and you've cleaned it up. And that was always a big way of dealing with money. And you know what I'm getting from people all the time now, that even, you know, people obviously that are genuine people looking to develop properties, they won't take cash. A lot of people will not take cash anymore. A lot of builders, a lot of businesses, they just won't take cash. Cash is dying, but not just because COVID, not just because of the government, but cash is dying. I mean, you know what happens to me sometimes. I was going through Burger King, and they won't take cash. They only take payment on a credit card or a debit card. Do you know that, Burger King? So of course I couldn't go there. Yeah, well I couldn't go because then Melanie will see the bank statement and see him have a go at me for going to Burger King. So I didn't go. I went to McDonald's instead because they still take cash. But cash is disappearing. Cash is, you know. I was talking to someone before, and they were saying, well, why would cash disappear?
My wife tells me that when she looks in my pockets to get some money.
Cash disappears. Yeah. So, but when you think about it, who needs to use cash these days? You know, if you've got your terminal set up and you can take payments, why would anyone go to a bank, draw cash out, and then go and spend it when you can just use your debit card or credit card, or even some people are having it chipped into the fingers now. So all the way down the line. I mean, do you ever use cash, Graham?
I have been doing lately, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that because you found a few quid when you were out walking? Did you find someone's wallet?
Do you know what?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was talking to my partner about this the other day. It used to be the case that you didn't want the cash on you because you'd spend it.
Yeah.
But in recent years, it's flipped. Like I don't want. If I've got cash on me, it's more cumbersome to spend it.
Yeah.
It's so much easier just to tap my card.
Well, I don't like cash. There's a security issue for it as well. I mean, when I used to have my shops years ago, one of my biggest problems is cash disappearing out the till. You know, cash not even going into the till. You know, one of the biggest problems was thievery.
Yeah.
You know, it's when it's paid online, it's paid online. There's none of that problem with cash.
See, I can't be trusted with my bank card anymore.
Well, they used to say, do you know what they used to say? Is if you want something, you pay by cash. And if you're not sure whether you want it, you pay by cheque. And if you know you don't want it, you put it on your credit card. But I do think that digital money doesn't feel real, and cash does feel real. But I don't like taking cash. I take so little cash. But I'm not really in a cash-based business. But when I did have my shops, it was problematic. You're worried that staff were going to steal it. You're worried that they were going to charge the wrong amounts and give the wrong change out. You're worried that customers could walk through the door and rob you. Then you had to transport the cash to the banks and, you know, stand in a queue with a load of cash on you. And you always had that fear of missing something out and being accused of fiddling your books. But now, the less cash we have, the more open and we can measure much better. From an accountant's point of view, I'd love to see cash disappear. I don't want to obviously harm anyone, and I don't want to see anybody sort of like disadvantaged because they're not dealing in cash. But I mean, Sam, just going back to you, because this is interesting for you, because your type of business was always massively cash. It was shopkeepers coming to buy from you, and now. How are you finding that? Are you still getting?
No, it's mainly online.
It is, isn't it? So it's not
online.
the government saying we are going to ban cash. It's just that people are finding a far more convenient way to
do their shopping,
to run business. Yeah. So I think that's quite. Anyway, Tesla. What have you got here, Graham? Tesla no longer accepting Bitcoin.
Yes, sir.
Is that because he's taking the piss, or because he's really concerned about the environment?
I don't know. I think someone probably had a word with him, didn't they?
Do they want him to do his doggy coin?
Doge apparently is accepting Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Still,
So do you think that's more political and manipulative, that he doesn't want to take Bitcoin, than that there's a problem with the market?
He invested in Bitcoin himself, so he's shooting himself in the foot.
Well, there's always a bigger agenda with these guys, isn't there?
Didn't he put like $1 billion into it, or $1.5 billion?
Yeah. Is that what he put?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Which he's keeping hold of, by the way. He's not got rid of.
No. But you see, at the same time, he's saying he's not going to take Bitcoin. Yeah. So it makes you wonder what's really going on there. And sorry, did you mention something before about doggy coin?
I was asking you about the Dodge, if you knew anything about it. So you've mentioned it without me talking about it.
Okay,
so you're doing quite well.
No, I'm not a fan of these cryptocurrencies. I think the government are going to come along with the Britcoin, and it's going to wipe all these things out. People are going to realise that they're not great, and it's the realm of.
See, if you get enough of a following on these type of YouTube talks, you can influence people to do whatever you want, because you've got hundreds of thousands of people watching you.
I talk to people on a daily basis, and that I influence no one. I learned that after having 3 daughters, that my opinion counts for fuck all.
Well,
but
Mr. Musk, for example, talks about Dogecoin, when Dogecoin itself has got
Hayden, you look like you want to
value.
say something to me.
Me? No, Elon Musk has cost me about £25. I don't know Elon Musk. Right?
It's your Bitcoin's
My major
investments drop.
portfolio is struggling.
Yeah, but this is it with crypto coin. It's a false investment.
Just to say though, I found in a wallet recently.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about 4 months ago. I'd put about £5 into Dogecoin.
Right.
It was worth like 150 quid when I
Wow.
went back. So I've removed that from the ecosystem.
That's more money than me and Sam put together in a month.
Oh, yeah.
Business isn't good. What, do you see that amount of money? Do you actually turn over that? Remember, I do your accounts.
You're my accountant.
Yeah, well, I don't see any money coming through. But, Selfridges granted license to host weddings. What a great idea. Why isn't everybody out there repurposing and doing dual things? Having a wedding in Selfridges, you can just shoplift your presents yourself, can't you? No, you can be getting married, and the guests can be going around choosing presents. I think that's a great idea. Well, how innovative can you get? Why not? I wonder what most businesses could do. I mean, like, what could a fish and chip shop do? Could you have a wedding in a fish and chip shop?
You could
have a bar mitzvah.
well, meat and batter everywhere.
What do you reckon?
I don't know if I'd want to go to any kind of religious ceremony at a chip shop.
Yeah, I think it'd be good. Sam, a bar mitzvah in a fish and chip shop. Fantastic.
Must be a cheap menu.
Deep fried Mars bars. Really fancy that one. Do you know? I always, new ideas are really great, and I think we need to embrace them more. I was reading about a lady that's plugging cold therapy. Have you ever heard of cold therapy? Apparently, being cold makes you live longer and lose weight and become healthier altogether. There was an invention that was being promoted in one of these funding type organisations, and they had these inner soles that you put in the fridge, and then you wear them all day. You put them in the freezer, and it helps to cool your body down, and it makes you lose weight. And now what this lady's doing is she's organising weekends and trips where people go paddling in freezing cold lakes and rivers and things. And it's just another idea of getting things moving again. It's great. I mean, the travel agency business must be struggling so much. There must be other things they can do. So maybe don't go abroad and holiday on Liner Beach, but stay in the country and do some more novel items, novelty things. So there's a message for all my travel agent clients, and anyone that's watching that is a travel agent, although I don't know what they're called anymore. But apparently there was a note in the paper. Somebody made us talk that they didn't know what travel agents were called anymore, but I don't know. But I think every business has got to adapt. Are we going to do your quote of the? Did you see the HS thing? Is reboring holes and
the high speed 2.
High speed 2, yeah.
Yeah, they've not even finished phase 1 yet, and they've just gone into 3.5 years worth of tunnelling. Yeah.
But something
out of phase 1.
In the days of even Victoria, Queen Victoria, she realised that the economy of a country is based on its ability to move goods and travel. Mm-hmm. And this was with the railway, she made a massive campaign to get the railways going. And I think this is marvellous. If you have a fantastic infrastructure that can move people from there to there and goods very quickly, doesn't half open up the doors for far stronger economy and business growth? Because if you can move goods quickly and people quickly, then at the very least you can have someone that lives in Manchester but could work in London, and the travel's not too bad. And this evens out the spread of work. So instead of, England is really the powerhouse of England is really the southwest, isn't it? So anything southeast, anything out of the southeast is really not that great. It's,
I know people that work in London, and literally they fly there every day.
Yeah.
Fly there and back every day.
Yeah. It must be exhausting. But the thing is, if we can spread that out with high-speed transport, then it's got to be good for the country. If Queen Victoria can do it 100 years ago, what more?
Downside is we've got to live till 2060 to find out.
Is that how long it's going to be? 26? Yeah, but it'll be phased. It won't just be it won't be switched on. It'll be, right, we've done that bit, now we've done that bit, now we've done that bit. So that we will gain advantages. But,
To be fair, Steve, just point out, I believe the advantage that we're going to gain is roughly half an hour.
That's everything.
Yeah, but that means it's costing.
Think what you can do in half an hour
per minute.
But it doesn't matter. Think what you can do in half an hour.
Sit on my couch.
There you go.
I want to go to London.
Well, I don't, but
I can halfway seduce myself in half an hour.
You can go there, and it'll get quicker and quicker. But it's more the infrastructure that it takes that it sort of evens up that north-south divide.
You were talking about magnets before.
Yeah,
in Japan they've got these maglev.
Oh, they have, don't they? They have these
do 400
trains.
miles an hour.
Yeah.
That
so
gets
there you go.
From Osaka
half an hour to London.
In 1 hour, you get from the capital to hundreds of miles away.
So it's coming, and it just means we can get on a train, and in half an hour we can be in London and go to get a McDonald's in London instead of Manchester, which is going to be better. Right. Are we ready for the quote of the day?
Oh yes. Let me pop it up for you one moment. A man is not worth a cent until he's 40.
Yeah.
We just pay him wages until then to make mistakes.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think it depends on the person, really. But I do know a story where this guy, he was coming up to being 40. It was like a few weeks after turning 40, and actually he was an artist, like you used to be, and he couldn't make a living. Seriously, he was so skint.
Just like me then.
Yeah, he just couldn't. He lived in a bedsit, and he could barely put food on the table. And I remember saying to him that he says, "Are things ever going to change for me?" And I said, "Yeah, it'll change. You're 40 soon. It'll all change." So he said, "Why do you think I'll sell a painting? Do you think I'll become a millionaire?" So I said, "No, it's just that by the time you're 40, you'll be used to the poverty." Thank you for watching. Good night.